Willie D Live.
Was it an equal standard when you was working at Union, when you was working over at Grand Union warehouse?
Oh no, that was before I even had any relationships. I couldn't even the girls in high school, man, that was back like then. And then when I graduated, I always knew I had to have a work ethic. I knew like I wasn't the college type.
Was it good money?
Huh?
Was it good money?
Yeah. See, first of all, I had minimum wage. My first job was a dietary aide at East Orange General Hospital. And that's serving the trays to the patients, so I got, that was minimum wage.
I thought you had the warehouse job.
No, that was later.
Okay.
So I'm born in December. So I actually graduated when I was 17. So I was out of high school with no job. So my Uncle Bobby, he worked at Grand Union Warehouse. That's a big warehouse. They had
he got you on?
The Union, everything else. The way I got on, I lied about my age and told him I was 18 when I was really 17. And the reason I got in is because it was a strike at the warehouse in Jersey. So I got in, and just for me, the strike went on for like maybe a year or more. And I was getting $8 an hour. Minimum wage back then was like $2 something, almost $3. So that as a teenager getting $8 an hour, I was like, I took 2 buses there every day. Before the sun came up, I was on a bus at the warehouse. And by the time I got off work, it was dark. And I was taking 2 buses home, but I was getting $8 an hour. And the only reason I stopped that job is when they let me go because the strike was over and the union workers got back in. But from going to $8 an hour, I couldn't even use it as experience nowhere, none, because I wasn't even supposed to have the job. You understand? And to go back to minimum wage, it was like, yo, I can't make it like this. So that's when the streets got involved, when it was like, and then I wasn't getting hired at all because I had no experience or nothing. And I'm like 18, about to go on 19. They like, what you ever done? And I'm like, well, I just had summer jobs and everything else. They like, all right, well.
Let's talk about these anthems, man. That's Naughty by Nature anthems.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you part of one of the greatest groups ever in hip-hop, one of the greatest groups ever in music, and easily, it's probably the top group when it comes to anthems. Like, I mean, memorable anthems. Like, man, I mean, who's responsible for these anthems? Like, is it you? Is it Vinny? Is it KG? Is that
actually, all of us. But I was the writer. You feel me? K was the producer, and Vin was a beatbox that got up into it. But when we performed like New Style before Naughty by Nature, we always had to go, and we put it in our mindsets, we have to perform something, put something in song format that is a call and response. Because back in the days, like in the 80s, most of the records come on and it's just a scratch at the hook. And that was it. You just had to have great lyrics or anything else. But we were coming from the late 80s into the 90s. We was like, it's a new decade. And every time we do our shows, we had it where it was a call and response type of thing. So we said, we got to put this in the music. So Vin would come and say, like, we need to make a song about this or that or boom or that. I was the writer, so I would come with the end, which all of us had was call and response. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. Or something people could sing along. Hip hop hooray. Oh, hey. Oh, or feel me flow. Now holla if you hear me though. Come. Like it all had to be a harmony, call and response, a crowd type thing in there. So that was our thing. We like what people see if they like the song and sing along with the song. And then they see a video to it, oh, we gonna take over the world. Nobody doing that like that. So that was like our little mini secret. Yeah. But we all contributed, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. But you did the most in the beginning. You would pretty much on those first few albums. You were the only one rapping on those first few albums, right? I know. Vinny did
Well, the
some.
first album mostly. Then I'm like, yo, Vin, you got to get up. So I started writing everything he said.
Yeah.
So it was when you hear like Hip Hop Array, we're going back and forth because like our favorite group as a group was Run DMC.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that dynamic of going back and forth and the greatest
Shout out to
DJ,
the greatest
you know, rest in peace,
DMC.
Jam Master
Straight
Jay.
up. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
K was the mini Jam Master Jay and me, and Vin was running D. So I'm like, you gotta start being more in the record so they know like you're a group, not just a hype man.
Yeah.
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 Mm-hmm.
When you guys were doing those records and y'all were hitting the road and performing and it was selling out and, you know, people just going crazy and all of this stuff, were you cognizant of what you were doing? Were you cognizant of that you were like etching your place in the history, or were you just in the
Nah. You never know. You can never say, yo, this a hit. But when you in the studio, you like, yo, this a hit.
Yeah.
You feel me? Like we knew we had something. We got signed to Queen Latifah Flavor Unit. We knew,
Yeah, shout out to
but
Queen.
it, you know, it was love
Yeah.
from the family. We knew they was famous, but when we got a deal and it came out and we had our first hit, OPP, we was like, yo, we got something. We thought we had something, but you never know till you release something. Everybody that release a record like this, that thing. And it don't always go like that. So, no, we were not aware. We just knew, let's try our system. And one of the great things about even our founders, the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, boom, you could not come out sounding like nobody else or looking like dressing like anything, or you was called a biter. And you would be, the fans would dish you like, oh, that's just boom. You know what I mean? So we, and all groups from the eras and the eras before, they prided themselves on, you could, like I say, and I love, don't get it twisted, I'm not going to diss our younger generation or anything else. I hear a lot of old school. I'm not doing that. I love them because it's like, it's their era and they doing it their way. You know, a lot of parents in our era was like, what is that y'all doing? That's not boom, boom, boom. But it's like, back in the days, you could put on everybody's video back to back with no volume on. You knew when the new group came on. You feel me? And even when you heard them, Ghetto Boys ain't sound like nobody out. Nobody out. Anybody that came out, whether it's West Coast, East Coast, Dirty South, Midwest, that was the beauty of hip hop because you heard all different type of slang, accents, the way they ride off of beats. And it was like just amazing. That's what took it to now is 50 years later. You remember they used to be like, oh, 2 years, 3 years, this hip hop music is not going to be here. That's just a fad that's coming in. No. The magic of just everybody being their own artist. So it made us just be like, all right, we come with this new album. And you couldn't sound exactly like the last album. Right. You had to outdo yourself every time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, it was what was really cool about it too was that you could put on a beat and you could tell which artist that beat belonged to. That's how different the artists were. You know, that's how different it was. Like, and a lot of that is attributed to the producers that we used. They were in-house and they didn't work for anybody else. Like, you know, Ghetto Boys producers wasn't over here producing for these guys.
Ain't nobody know each other then.
Yeah,
it wasn't social media or boom.
Well, we knew each other, but
in passing.
Yeah.
We see each other at shows and bow, but it wasn't like, for the most part, the producers was in our hometowns or within our groups. So we'll be like this, but we were so competitive. We like, did you hear that last album they made? Oh, we gotta smoke them with our shit. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't. It was a competitive thing. Like, because everybody's sound was from that region or where they were from. And that's what made it so funky.
Yeah. Who's responsible for y'all merch? Because y'all got some of the dopest merch.
Well, we all like came up. We had
Yeah.
once we had the logo and everything else. That was his part in it. You know what I mean, as well, because we never wanted anybody to be looked at as like inferior in the group or not a part. So Vin really went and he was like doing we looked at Public Enemy for one.
Mm-hmm.
Like Public Enemy had their merch and they album sleeves and all that and that logo. Like, God, this is huge. And then we seen them like touring overseas and stuff. All them white folks wearing that. We was like, hold up. Ching, 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 ching. So even when we had the brick and mortar store in Newark, the Naughty store, it was like, yeah, Vin was running the merchandise. Yep.
Yeah, it's dope.
Mm-hmm.
Dope. Man, tell me about when you met Michael Jackson. Tell me what that experience was like.
I felt like a GG, a gangster groupie. I was gangster like, yo, this MJ, is you serious?
Now, under what circumstances did y'all meet?
To our homie, rest in peace, Heavy D.
Okay.
Heavy D had a joint with him called Jam.
I remember that song.
Michael Jordan was in the video.
Right.
So he invite us there, like to the video, and like, we like, what? We go to the video and see Mike. And he shake our hands like, and you know OPP is ABC, Jackson 5 sample.
Right.
Yo, that song is my joint. I felt like I was in a straight Matrix dream, like Michael Jackson. Know you by nature, I love you guys.
And how did y'all get the damn rights to release this? I would never have thought Mike or whoever owned the publishing would give you guys permission to use that sample.
Exactly. Well, what they did, we were actually signed to Warner Brothers Records. Shout out to Benny Medina.
Okay.
Benny Medina.
Yes.
They didn't know what to do with hip hop. Like but you know they love Latifah and through you know Business Connects put us on Tommy Boy. But it went through, and Shakim's great managing skills. They was like, okay, let's hear. Oh, these guys are boom. Okay. What we can do is tell me you won't get any publishing from it, the production. We was like, so? Y'all gonna clear the sample? We could tour forever off this. This song, we already made it and knew it. We was like, this song right here, nobody has a Jackson 5 sample, because you couldn't get it clear. Through the connects over there and Warner's, we got that sample, and it was a rap like a doobie.
Yeah, that was big. That was big.
So we was like, we don't need no. So after like 30 years, which is now, when you start getting some publishing, producing, but we got the writer's credit.
Yeah,
that was and we
big.
Tour until, still doing it.
That's how it was when we sampled Steve Miller, for the Joker.
Yeah, to give them
We did the Gangsta Love. We was like, man, they told us we couldn't use it, and we was like, man, this shit is jam, because we had already made the song. And we was like, man,
we can't change
what y'all want to do? We was like, man, we putting this side, man. They can do what they want to do.
You ain't going to have no publishing off the production,
man,
so what?
Yeah, man.
That was the same type
deal. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That part.
So you meet Mike, and does Mike know who you are?
Yeah, I said. He was like, Naughty by Nature, OPP. I love that song.
So he really knows who you are, and did he rap the song? Because I heard a lot of times when Michael rap songs.
He knew enough to say, "You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me. You down with OPP?" He like play a beat like substitutions with his hands, and I'm like, "Yo, Michael Jackson knows me. I'm the shit."
Did he have Bubbles with him?
Yeah, he had Bubbles.
Bubbles was with him.
Yeah, he
what was
pulls
Bubbles?
up.
Was Bubbles on his back or he was holding him?
Man, Bubbles was walking around dressed better than us, yo. With badass bras walking him. Like, is you serious? Like, are you serious? Yo, it was like a movie.
What kind of suit did Bubba have?
A suit.
He had a suit.
It probably was.
He had a tuxedo or just
Yeah,
regular
probably
suit?
Versace or
Did he have a tie on?
Yeah. Black suit, black tie, white shirt, and hands out, and it ain't no shoes gonna fit him.
Man, whatever happened? Do you know what happened to Bubbles, man? Because all of a sudden I just stopped hearing about Bubbles. Did Bubbles die?
I mean,
yeah, I guess he did.
probably,
it's been a long time.
monkey years and human years is different.
Yeah.
Like dog years. Like I
don't know how long.
He might be pimping out in L.A. somewhere.
know how
Like
long
he
monkeys
probably
stay
got
alive.
a gang of hoes. Like Bubbles was.
Bubbles, man. So Mike, y'all meet Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Mike is jamming to the music and everything.
Yeah.
And did you observe anything about him that made you go like wow outside of him being wowed by you guys?
No, I was basically in awe. I mean, all the talks was going on and everything else, the skin lighter and all the rest of that. I don't care about none of that. I'm like, yo, he black, period. And the talent is undeniable, and the legacy and the legend who he is while he was alive. And I have a part of being here in the video and taking pictures and all the rest of that, so nobody could say you lying. Not only was we in the video, we had pictures that was all over everywhere and everything else with MJ, the Prince, Heavy D, Michael Jordan, 2 MJs. And it's all because in this time it was like just OPP out. It wasn't even hit. It was the first album. The first album we were rubbing elbows with the biggest of the biggest stars on the planet. Oh, you come on.
This is when I knew you guys were dope, right? I only knew one song, and that was OPP. We were on tour together, and the only thing I knew was that OPP song.
Mm-hmm.
But when y'all hit the stage, y'all rocked it. Y'all rocked it. That ain't easy to do, rocking the stage when people don't know your music.
Yeah.
When people don't really know the lyrics to certain. Everybody knew OPP, and your fan base, the people that came out to see y'all in particular, they knew the song. But other people were just like me, was just rocking who didn't necessarily know the lyrics.
Because at that time, we were getting paid where they wanted, like, we just had a single out, but they wanted 45-minute hour show.
Yeah.
So we had to perform. So that when it comes into even our gangster songs and everything else, it was like our mentor was always call and response, and because we was doing talent shows all over before we even came out, and we had to rock a crowd that don't know none of our music. So we made our albums like, don't nobody know this. We gotta, if we play this anywhere or perform this, the crowd has to rock with us. Whether it's a gangster song, a party song, a sexy song, or anything else. And they did. And a lot of artists come out now, they blow up. They have hits, but they never performed until they perform again. And sometimes the shows is like, you could tell. We were performing at all types of ghetto where like the Apollo type audiences that'll boo you off stage if you whack, like years before we even came out with OPP. So we already had stage presence and knew how to rock a crowd, period.